What's up, everybody? All right, we are back with another live, and today we are talking about DC because DC is a hot topic, and everybody everywhere continues to talk about it. As always, if you're new to the channel or if this is your first time checking me out, hit that subscribe. It doesn't cost you nothing. This is free content that I'm bringing you, and here we are. So, we're going to get started in a few minutes while we wait for these notifications and all that good stuff. How's everybody doing out there today? Hopefully, everybody's been having a good start of the week and all that good stuff. So, like I said, we got a few things we're going to talk about today with this whole mess of DC because it's a disaster, honestly, and it's interesting to see where it's at and what things are coming out and how people are talking everywhere about this company. So, we will talk about that in a few minutes and we will get started. So, drop your comments and we'll be going over them and stuff like that. So all that good stuff. So we're gonna give it a few more seconds, and we'll be starting very soon in a few seconds. So while we wait for more people to come into the chat and all this good stuff, so let's get cracking. What's going on? Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Do you was it? Do you know there's many Batman projects? We're about to talk about something with this. Do you think there's many Batman projects? We'll talk about something with this because this is interesting, and I do want to talk about something with that with the topic. So we'll get to everything right now. But yeah, there's gonna be some stuff, that this whole WB and DC are doing right now and stuff like that. So, it's some interesting stuff that's happening. So let me look at my thing, my notes, because it was very interesting to see what I was pulling, and I just say, you know what, let's just talk about it because why not? So let's see. I'm checking out the comments while y'all posting and stuff, and then we'll talk about it. It seems like it's being rigged because I went to the local theater last week to watch Diaperman. There was only like 10 people in seats, including us. How did they cross 400 million? Yeah, we're gonna talk about all that right now. So yeah, they're lying for sure. They're lying. Sergeant, what's up? Appreciate you for watching. Yep, live. You already know it. So I thought it was a good time right now to do this live stream. I was gonna do a video, but I was like, you know what? I was a little bit tied up to this and stuff, so that's why we are here right now. But all right, let's talk about this and let's get to the point because I know you probably like get to the point. All right, so look, let's talk about James Gunn and everything that James Gunn is doing right now. James Gunn is a mess, and everything that he's saying right now is just completely just more and more ridiculous. What up? What up? Appreciate y'all for watching. And honestly, look, so James Gunn came out. He said they asked him straight up, because remember this whole thing with this reboot, if you want to say, it's just getting out of control more and more. And obviously, James Gunn's not the one. He's completely out of the league when it comes to this whole leadership at WB, and it's just a mess completely of what it's become and stuff like that. One of my favorite DC YouTubers. I appreciate that. Appreciate that for tuning in. Really do appreciate that. It means a lot. WB brought the box office numbers to make it higher. Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're bribing right now, and I'm gonna tell you right now, they're running out of money. They are running out of money. Honestly, they can't afford it. Honestly, the websites, yeah, they're paying everybody off, and it's caught up to them. I'm gonna tell you right now, with Fantastic Four dropping this weekend, oh, it's done. It's done for Superman. I'm telling you right now, Superman is not going to cross the numbers where they're at right now. That's it. I think they already reached their peak. And this is why James Gunn's coming out saying, and this is why he said it. Like I told you, I remember I've been saying this over 2 years ago. Watch when we get close and all this stuff. Look at where we are right now. It's actually fulfilling that WB, DC, James Gunn, all these bulls were going to come up with excuses and say, "Hey, it's okay for it to flop. It doesn't matter if it flops. They're coming with all type of pathetic excuses, left and right, up and down, sideways, everywhere, and everybody's caught on. All these YouTubers that have big channels and stuff are putting them out there, and they're exposing them. And WB can't hide anymore. It's proven already. Nobody outside of the US cares about this movie. They're pulling the movies from the theaters. They're giving the screens to Jurassic World Rebirth, and they're giving it to F1 because those movies are making money. And notice this, they're not even talking about those two movies. They keep on trying to, oh, Superman is the number one movie in America. Yo, nobody cares. There's nothing else obviously to compete. So of course it's going to be the number one spot. But you know what? Jokes on them because okay, you could be the number one spot, but who's taking the highest money right now? when it comes to these movies of like good entertainment. Yes, Lilo and Stitch is already at 1 billion. Good for them. Good for them. We know what's gonna make it to that. It's Disney. It's a kids movie. Of course, it's gonna make those numbers. And then now seeing, Superman. Everybody's Superman. No, it's not. No, it's not. All the people know that the money's going to Jurassic World Rebirth, and they are making bank. They've already passed. I think they're already up to 700 million, and over the weekend it was like 645 million. So this movie, I'm telling you right now, it's on its third week. By next week, I'm telling you, I'm guarantee you, this movie's about to make $1 billion. And I told you that's exactly what's gonna happen. Jurassic World is just stomping the box office. There's no and ifs or buts. Superman will not reach those numbers whatsoever. And especially now that you have Fantastic Four dropping this week, that's it. It's over for the DCU. It's over for James Gunn. This is why they're admitting that nobody is pretty much watching them. This is why they're trying to justify and say, oh, it's okay for them to flop. It's okay if it doesn't make 700 million. And then now they're like, oh, it's not making the numbers. It's okay if they make budget. Come on, that's lame. How the hell are you gonna go? Oh, it's okay for us to make back the budget, and they're not even gonna make budget back. Add the marketing and add all the shills, paychecks that they have to pay. These people are spending a lot of money. They have to make, honestly, at this point, they need to make $1 billion for it to be successful, and it's not going to make those numbers. They know it. They know it exactly. Look, Nate, I agree with you. WB went broke, and we're gonna get to that right now because something new just came out today, and we're gonna talk about that. I can't wait to get to it, but we're gonna talk about that in a few. So, like I said, we got a few things we need to talk about. I never seen so many grown people gaslight movie. Look, man, straight up, this whole thing with Superman, it is just insane. It's completely insane, yo. Like nobody cares about this Superman movie, straight up. And James Gunn's just coming out with all these excuses and all these James Gunn cultists, the same thing, trying to put but this and that. Yo, nobody wants to hear your sorry ass excuses. Admit it. It's a flop. It's tanking, and nobody cares. That's it. It's a done deal. Wrap it up. Let's move on to the next one. The next one's already started with Fantastic Four. That one's about to blow Superman out the water, and nobody cares about it. And meanwhile, Jurassic World is gonna continue to crush the box office. But look, James Gunn straight up came out and they asked him about, if everything in the DCEU is canon, such as Black Adam and Shazam. And James Gunn said, they're not canon. I hate that. So hold on. Let's pause and analyze this. Yo, let's look at this. All right. So you gotta tell me that James Gunn, when he came on board with the DCEU, with the Suicide Squad, that he didn't have anything to do with Shazam 2, I call that cap. That's BS. You know why? Because James Gunn put his wife in both movies. At the end credit scene of Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods, you see James Gunn's wife. And then he tried to clean his hands and said, oh, I had nothing to do with that. Bullshit. Bullshit. You know exactly you had something to do with that. Nobody wants to hire your wife. Nobody hires your wife, period. That's what the fact is. Nobody hires James Gunn's wife in any product or production unless it's James Gunn himself. And then on top of that, you have Black Adam. And who made a cameo in there? Again, James Gunn's wife. So James Gunn has been around lurking at WB behind the scenes before he got appointed. And then everything went down once he did the Suicide Squad. And we already see how that turned out. That movie was a disaster. And from that, everything has just been following. Everything that they've been putting out and everything that they've been doing is straight up all lies. They just want everybody to believe it and to eat it. Don't fall for the tricks. Don't fall for the lies that they're out there trying to promote, trying to push, because we already know that this all, it's straight up, it smells like lies. And that's exactly what's going on. Yeah, the shareholders are going to be happy, that once this thing tanks straight up, they need to make their money back. And, it's crazy. It's crazy. WB needs Zach back. Yeah, for sure. For sure. That's going to happen. I'm telling y'all. I believe it. I was just saying Jurassic World would bang 1 billion months ago. Yeah, they're gonna make the $1 billion very soon. They're already like really, really close to it. James Gunn's a hack. Snyder, Nolan, Ayer is a dream team, and WB dropped the ball. Yeah. So look, let's talk about this real quick. So it's just so much to talk about. I don't know if you guys seen it, but today we already got the announcement that we're gonna have, all right, not for nothing, we're gonna have a black female playing as Clayface. in the new upcoming movie. I'm telling you, DC is the D she you. They're focusing on what's her name, Supergirl. They're doing and they're trying to like go ahead and green light Wonder Woman, and now they're gonna turn Clayface into a female. Think about that. DC has become the new Marvel with the agenda of the DCU. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm telling y'all. If you don't believe me, I'm gonna put the post, not now, but I'm gonna post it in a few, that straight up Clayface is going to be portrayed as a black woman. That is nuts. This is what this company has become. It has become completely a straight up agenda filled propaganda company. And Disney did it, and Kevin Feige admitted it. He's like, "Yeah, we're gonna go woke, and we don't care." That's exactly why you seeing the Silver Surfer with the female version. Why you seeing everything that they're focusing? They're straight up the DCU and the MCU. That's exactly what these companies have become. They do not care anymore. That's it. Entertainment is done. It's over. It's completely a wrap. And it's thanks to the shills of Disney and now with James Gunn. So all of these shills and all these cultists that follow both sides are out there trying to support it. And that's exactly what they want. And you can see it constantly with these actors and actresses. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Yep, I get you. I'm telling you straight up, completely. Look, this whole thing, yeah, exactly. That's what Kevin Feige said, that they're gonna go all out woke. They don't care. That's what their agenda is, and we've been saying it for a while. They do not care about quality. They only care about cash grabs and how they can put out there some type of agenda. And that's exactly what they're doing. Why you think they made Superman into a punk? They made Superman into a straight up wuss. And Lois Lane is supposed to be wearing the pants, and she's going to be that strong and independent female role, but they were being discreet about it. That's what I'm telling y'all. Superman is straight up low key woke with an agenda. It's a feminism, portraying, like Superman, he shouldn't be strong. Even James Gunn said it, that he should be weak, and it's okay that he's weak. Yo, you're making Superman. You're making him into a puss. Straight up. That's like saying, look, let's soften up Goku and let's turn Goku, which is a Super Saiyan, a god, into a puss. No, it doesn't work like that because you're gonna piss everybody off. And that's what they've done to Superman. They literally have turned Superman into this, like the whole damsel in distress. Superman is the one that's in distress now. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. This is why I'm telling you, this is what these companies want. They do not care. They do not care. And it's straight up, you know what? You reap what you sow. That's why they're not making these monies at the money at the box office. And for that, I'm actually happy. I am happy. They are literally trying to cater to this new generation. I don't even know what level or what letter it is, but the whole point is that thank you, TikTok, because that's what this audience is for these movies. People with short attention span that don't care, and they're just like, yo, stupidity is what's selling. And that's exactly what's selling right now in today's industry. Stupidity. The more stupid that the product is and ridiculous is, the more that people are going to praise it and love it. It's insane. We are straight up on backwards mode to the fullest, and it's wild. It completely is so wild. But that's one thing. All right, that's one thing with what I came across. The other one is this one. This is the one that's straight up right now doing damage to WB with Superman. Every time James Gunn talks, it's like straight up, yo, what is he gonna say next? And this is what he said today. I mean, not today, but he just said recently. He's saying that James Gunn says anti-American sentiment around the world, right? That's going around the world right now, is what's not helping Superman at the global box office. Yo, are you really gonna pull out that card? You're trying to pull out the political card. Just admit it. You didn't know what to do with Superman. You know that it's straight up trash. Nobody cares about it the way that you thought it was gonna be good. And now that it's backfiring, he's trying to clean his hands, saying and blaming, oh, anti-American sentiment around the world that's going on right now. It's not about that. Low key, you focused your movie as if it was part of that. It's a low key agenda type movie, and everybody has caught on. If you know, you know. If you need an explanation, then you don't know. You don't understand. But if you know what I'm talking about, then you know what's up. And a lot of people are caught on. There's so many channels that are exposing it and saying it. and you just can't keep the rabbit in the bag anymore. It's already out, and it's out there for everybody to straight up be, completely just talking about it and stuff like that. But that's another thing that that's completely ruining Superman right now. Another thing, and this is gonna be interesting what I'm gonna talk to you about right now. All right, it has to do with Kevin Feige and James Gunn. We saw that recently. Kevin Feige came out, he was talking, and this is what he's saying. All right, James Gunn. Um, yeah, okay. So James Gunn's quoting from what Kevin Feige said. It's funny. Kevin Feige wrote to me yesterday. He says he hopes his old pal Bizarro, Bizarro, whatever, he wants to see Bizarro. Okay, so James Gunn's trying to say that this was it Ultraman in the movie, he's going to be coming back as Bizarro. So James Gunn is like, all right, you know what? Hey, he might think on it, like saying like, all right, we might do something with that. See what I'm saying? And that's not the scary part. The scary part is the following. And if you're paying close attention, I'm gonna tell you right now what I see is happening. All right. Kevin Feige also said the following. He goes, I love how you just jump right into it for Superman. You don't know who Mr. Terrific is. You don't know who he is though. You'll figure it out. You don't know what this is. Just go. This is a fully fleshed out world. All right, Kevin Feige, get it together. You're talking about that this is a fully fleshed out world. We have no clue what the hell's going on. They just threw us in there with no explanation. And then Kevin Feige is trying to say, hey, I love what James Gunn is doing with his Superman. And he's talking about that there's no superhero fatigue. And that what James Gunn is doing is like straight up like staying on top. And in other words, he's praising James Gunn. Look, I'm going to tell you straight up what I think is happening, and it's already coming into play. Let's go back a few years ago, right? What did James Gunn say? He's down to do a crossover. What did Kevin Feige said? He doesn't oppose to it. I think this is how it's all starting. All this little like talk and stuff like this is all building up so that they can eventually do a crossover with DC versus Marvel. And I'm seeing it. If you're putting it together, I think that's exactly what they're trying to build up. They're trying to do this cross promotion because remember, it all kicked off right now with Superman because it's a coincidence that they both fell on the same timeline in the same like a week or two after, and then you have the next movie. Nah, it's not coincidence. A few years ago, they asked James Gunn, "Are you down to do a crossover?" And Kevin Feige, and they were both like, "Yeah, we're down with it. Not now, but maybe later down the road." I think this is all just setting up to it. So eventually they do a crossover, the DCU versus the MCU. But in the future, what I think is gonna happen is gonna be the DCU versus the MCU, and that's exactly what we're seeing. This company has completely gone full woke and filled with their agenda. They don't care about it no more. They don't care, and they're not afraid to say it. They're straight up like, you know what? And notice how James Gunn's saying it. He's like, this Superman, if it's not up your alley, tough luck. You got to deal with it because he's not going to go and change anything. So, in other words, he's clearly telling you, yo, we're going to keep on doing what we're going to do. We don't care who gets mad at it, but, that's exactly what we're going to go with. So, in other words, it's a complete mess. And then on top of that, again, here we go with James Gunn. What did he say? He said that he did a podcast, all right, regarding this whole thing, what's canon and what's not. And he's saying that basically, he chipped off a little things from Peacemaker season 1 that aren't canon, like Aquaman, but most of the stuff is canon. Every time he says something, it's confusing. It's a mess. And then now he's coming out with the, oh, well, you have to watch season 2 of Peacemaker because it's going to connect and it's going to explain the whole multiverse. Dude, you don't even know what you're doing with the multiverse, straight up. You don't know what you're doing and just admit it. You're straight up, it's sloppy. Everything is sloppy at DC. And it's clear every time it gets worse and worse. And there's nothing that this company can do to try to redeem themselves. That's it. Everything that they're putting out is just completely garbage. It's trash. People are just done with it. They're over with it. They don't care about it. And I'm telling you right now, yo, like this gets every time more cringe. And it's like, this is canon. This is not canon. This might be canon. This might somewhat be canon. This is not fully canon, but it's sprinkled with a little bit of this and that so it can be canon. You see how confusing that sounds? That's exactly what this whole DCU has become. It's completely a circus. It really is. And just seeing everything that James Gunn is putting out there, look, nobody, I'm telling you right now, is interested. And then the people that they're saying that quote unquote are interested, they're just fake. They're fake and they're paid off. Look at Grace Randolph, right? Grace Randolph is now starting to talk bad again about Superman. Hold on. She just got a check like 2 weeks ago. So she's trying to say, like I read on a comment, hey, WB, it's time for you to pay up the next month because I'm already starting to talk bad about you. And you can see the shilling. This is why I'm telling y'all. Y'all need to keep close eyes on all these channels that are shilling and who they are. They've been revealing themselves. You can't be riding the Snyderverse wagon today and then tomorrow you're jumping on the James Gunn wagon. Nah, it doesn't roll like that. You cannot. Look, I'm gonna tell you straight up. As a DC fan, this is me. I cannot come to you and tell you, hey, I'm down with Zack Snyder and the Snyderverse, but I'm also supporting James Gunn's DCU. No, there's no in between. You're either one or the other. You're either a James Gunn fan or you're a Zack Snyder fan. There's no in between. You can't say, "Oh, I like both." No, because both are not on the same level. So anybody that comes at me and tells me otherwise, you straight up phony. You fake. Don't come at me with that. Straight up. My opinion, I stand firm with what I believe in. I am down with the DCEU and what Zack Snyder had with David Ayer. That's it. I do not care about what James Gunn is doing. I do not support him, and it's not in my interest. That's why I don't talk about it. I talk about it because I'm exposing, I'm showing you, I'm bringing you these facts of what's going on out here. See what I'm saying? So when people come and tell me, "Oh, but you're still talking about it," yeah, I'm talking about it because I'm exposing them. I'm putting them out there how it's supposed to be, not that I'm supporting it. And to the ones that are like, "Oh, but you saw Superman," yeah, but I didn't pay for it. That's the difference. I'm not like other channels. They're like, "Yo, I'm gonna go watch it because I'm gonna review it and blah blah." Nah, I ain't pay for that shit. Straight up. So by sailing the seven seas, if you get what I'm saying, that's how I saw it. But I ain't go out there and spend $1 on that movie. So that's exactly what it is. Uh, yeah. That whole thing with Clayface, I'm telling you right now, it's bad. It's bad. And I'm telling you, this whole thing is just completely a disaster. James Gunn has been the worst thing to happen to the whole brand of DC. Like I'm talking about, like overall, it's completely a mess. And then again, look at what James Gunn is also saying. Look, he goes with this whole thing, with what's canon and what's not. He goes, nothing from the DCEU is canon before Creature Commandos. Remember, he said that. But you can think of those other things as vague memories of things that happened, going back even to the first Suicide Squad. In other words, James Gunn is flat out saying and trying to erase everything that has to do with Zack Snyder and David Ayer. Because Peacemaker is from the DCEU. When you have Blue Beetle, is from the DCEU. When you have Harley Quinn, she's from the DCEU. She's from David Ayer's universe. That's all from the Snyderverse. And then James Gunn wants to take her when he did his The Suicide Squad, and then she was still connected. But then you have now him coming out saying that it's not canon. Make it make sense. Black Adam is part of the DCEU. I get it. It's not part of the Snyderverse. It has the tone and what The Rock was trying to do. I give him credit for that. And plus, he brought Henry Cavill. So, in a way, I'm sorry to say it, but it's still kind of connected to the Snyderverse. Say what you want, but that's what it's coming from. It's the same Superman, it's the same tone, it's the same costumes, it's the same universe. So, to me, it's still part and it's still connected into the Snyderverse. It's not from what Zack had originally, but these characters are still there and they're still in tone. Now, if it would have been David Cornsweet, then that's a whole different story. But we're talking about Henry Cavill. I don't care if it's Justice League. I don't care if it's Black Adam. I don't care if it's the Homoniverse. That's still Henry Cavill. That's still the Superman of the DCEU that Zack Snyder had. We have two different versions, but that's the studio's problem, not ours. As a fan, I see it, yo, that's still Henry Cavill. See what I'm saying? So therefore, to me, it's like, yo, that shit's still canon. See what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden now, you have this bozo James Gunn coming out saying that things that happened in the first Suicide Squad, meaning the one with David Ayer, which we already know that's not the Ayer version, but in the whole timeline, if you want to see the bigger picture, is still part of the DCEU. So you're gonna tell me that that's not canon, but then it originated from there? I mean, Peacemaker's acknowledging Batman and making fun of Batman from that same damn timeline. Is he making fun of Robert Pattinson? No, because that's a different timeline. So you see what I'm saying? James Gunn's just so full of shit. That's the thing. He's so full of shit that he doesn't even know how to lie and keep up with his lies. And it's telling you, yo, like completely is just straight up. It's just sloppy. It's sloppy. You can't even say that this is all slop. This is just straight up sloppy on every way, shape, and form. And it's crazy. It's completely crazy. Look, it's wild. Look, now you said that, Pedro. What's up? Um, I don't know if y'all saw, but McFarlane Toys tomorrow, all right, at the time of this recording, tomorrow, July 23rd, because we're getting close, to Comic Con, what is it, San Diego Comic Con stuff. So they're trying to push out, and McFarlane's trying to milk whatever he has with the remaining, license of DC. So now it's when we're getting this bundle pack of Batman. What is it? Justice League. Not even Zack Snyder's Justice League. They're just calling it Justice League. The Batmobile. They're including the same figures, just the black and white versions, and in a steel poster, signed by Todd McFarlane, and you get the bat signal, and straight up, like, we've already got these things. The only thing that's new is just that little steel poster and the Batmobile itself. I want to get it, but at the same time, I don't want to get it, and I'll tell you why. This is the reason why WB always up with this bullshit. They know that they need money to fund the DCU. They know that they're losing money with Superman. So what are they gonna do? Well, it's time to reel in again the bait, throw out the bait, and let's get these Snyder fans again. I'm being cautious. I'm gonna tell you straight up. I want that Batmobile. I don't need the accessories, the figures. I don't need the extra stuff because I already have it. But the way that they're marketing it and trying to sell it to us, it makes me be like, damn, I want it. But do I really want to support this company? Nah, not like that. Not like that. And they know that that's how they're gonna get most of us, because they need money to fund their shitty DCU, because they know it's not working. It's interesting because it sells with Zack Snyder. But with James Gunn, how come they don't do nothing with James Gunn like that? Think about it. How come they don't re-release figures of James Gunn's Superman? How come they don't redo things of the Suicide Squad? Oh, that's right, because it doesn't sell. So if it doesn't sell, oh, let's go to what sells. It's the Snyderverse, damn it. The Snyderverse is what sells. This is why I'm telling y'all, we have to keep on staying together and staying with the goal of restore the Snyderverse. I get it. Some of y'all might be like, oh no, we want to sell this and that. Yo, we need to stick to one goal and one goal only. When we were fighting for release the Snyder Cut, that's all we stuck to. Right now, shit has gone out of control with too many damn hashtags left and right. We don't need all these shitty hashtags. I'm telling you straight up. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of seeing so many damn hashtags just to prove our point. We need to just stick to restore the Snyderverse, and that's it. Everything else falls under it. If we would all stick to one hashtag, which would be the main goal of restore the Snyderverse, imagine how we would trend in one day with just one hashtag. No, but instead you have people that are like branching out from within our community. And I'm gonna tell you straight up, that shit's pissing me off. It's making us look bad. It's really making us look bad. We don't need 1,000 hashtags. Why the hell do we need more hashtags? Stick to one hashtag. That's the point and the purpose of this. WB knows that we're making noise. They see us everywhere. They see us everywhere. When we were fighting for the Snyder Cut, the same thing happened. James Gunn knows we're out here. We're constantly tagging him. I've been tagging him lately on Twitter, and I know they're seeing those messages. I'm gonna tell you straight up. They're seeing, they're watching, they're aware, they're listening. Don't think that things are not gonna change. I told y'all things are going to change in a matter of time. Don't think that they're not seeing those statistics of Man of Steel with 218% increase of being, hey, I want to see Man of Steel. Think about the new generation. There's a lot of people that haven't seen Man of Steel. That's a movie from 12 years ago. All those babies that were from like 12 years ago, they're 12, 13, 14 years old now. They're gonna go watch and rewatch it, and they're starting to discover, and they're like, "Yo, this is good." Exactly, it's cinema. That's what that is. It's quality. And then all of a sudden now, what do you have? James Gunn trying to steer everybody away because he wants to cater to this new generation. They don't know what the hell's quality because they're so used to the TikTok mentality. And then you have James Gunn constantly coming out and saying all type of stupid things. And every time he says something, it's more and more confusing. This is why what they're doing is trying to milk us, the Snyder fans. They know that we're gonna pay. They know that we're going to pay. And then on top of that, they know we're gonna spend money. James Gunn fans don't go out there and spend money like we do. They don't. How many times have I bought the was it the Batman versus Superman Batman? How many times have I bought them personally? Too many. I can't even keep up. How many? And what does that tell you? That I've spent so much money on it, on one figure, and I got multiple. Why? Because I like it. I support it. It's my favorite version. It's crazy. That's what tells you that you're a real fan because you constantly keep on spending on it. And that's what the studio knows. The studio knows that these Snyder fans are going to go out there and spend money. And it's crazy. It's completely crazy to see how some people are like, oh, well, I support the Snyderverse, but I also support James Gunn. You can't. You can't have both and eat both of them. You just can't, honestly. As fans, you have to stick to one. You can't enjoy both. And when I say you can't enjoy it, it's like, yo, straight up, come on. You're really gonna go from quality to the generic, and you're gonna just settle for whatever they put out and they give you? It doesn't work like that, honestly. And the studio knows that. The studio's well aware of all of us. They hear us, they see us. I'm sure every day they're constantly talking about it. And they're like, yo, what if we don't make these numbers? They're not making these numbers. When you have theaters pulling out Superman out of the US, but they don't want to tell you that. That's a secret. That's hidden. That's a no-no. We don't talk about that. They don't like to hear channels like me exposing them and calling it how it is. They don't like that because that's bad for business. That makes them, yo, that we can't let the public know. Oh, okay. I'll let the public know. That's how it is. They're bullshitting you. They're straight up lying to you, and they're saying that it's the number one movie in the world, and it's not. They're not the number one movie in the world. You don't believe me? Go check out the box office. Also, what? They're making a little bit of money at the box office. That's chump change. You want to see what real money is? Lilo and Stitch, Jurassic World Rebirth. That's real money. You're about to see what real money is again this weekend with Fantastic Four. And I get it. Some people are not down with that movie and they don't care about it. I'm one of them. I don't care about Fantastic Four. But I want to see that make and completely destroy James Gunn's Superman to prove the point. And it's already out there. People are knowing and they're finding out, yo, James Gunn is not the one. You have James Gunn's fans turning and they're like, yeah, nah, like James Gunn doesn't know how to cook. He's not putting out quality. He's not doing what he's supposed to. And people are tired of it. People are really, really tired of it. And it's no surprise. It's no surprise, my friends. I'm telling you straight up. And seeing how everything is with the studio, like they're on panic mode. They are on real panic mode, and they know that they're not making those numbers. And the worst part about it is that if you're in this business and you're like, yo, we're here to make money and to win, and you already know that you're losing, and you're like, yo, it's okay, we don't need to make money. No, no, it's not about the money. Bullshit. If it's not about the money, then go do charity. Go do charity if it's not about the money. Again, call it cap. That's bullshit. You know exactly that this is all about money, but your ego won't allow you. And that's what's destroying this company. The ego of the executives, the ego of the CEOs, and the ego of these fans of today, that they're all fake because their egos, it's what's blinding them. They don't care about anything else as long as they push their agenda, whatever agenda that they're pushing, whether it's the alphabet, whether it's let's change the roles of the characters, let's race swap, let's do whatever agenda that they have, they're succeeding and they're winning. And for that, that's why it's costing them at the box office. And I'm glad Jurassic World is showing you that you give the fans what they like and they enjoy, and they will keep on supporting it. F1 is showing you that. I haven't even seen it, but it's crazy how it continues to make money at the box office because that's what people like. People just want good entertainment. Enough of this bullshit with agendas that nobody cares about. This is why this whole industry and everything is going down, because it's all about, oh, let's push this and let's push that. No, you should be pushing these characters where they left off, where they're going, why they're doing this. That's what they don't care about. And for that, that's why at the box office, you're seeing that they're doing terrible. And for that, as a fan, I'm happy. I'm like, damn, you know what? You're literally paying for what you asked for. You pushed this, you pushed this all upon your own audience. And your audience isn't buying it. They're not supporting it. There's so long and so far that you can go until it finally catches up. And once it caught up, that's it. Like it's done. They're done. Like there's no saving. I'm telling you right now, there's no legs for the DCU with James Gunn. There's just no legs. There's no foundation. Everything is being built on sand. If you ever build a sand castle at the beach and you've seen a little bit of water when the waves come in, and then when you start seeing, the water going up more and it wets your castle, what happens? It all completely crumbles right in front of you. It could be the most beautiful sandcastle that you built. But one good wave and it's all gone. And that's exactly what the DCU is. The DCU is being built on sand upon sand. There's no foundation. When Zack Snyder was there and David Ayer, Patty Jenkins, James Wan, they were all there, four different directors, four different visions, and they were all working. They all worked, and they were all unique, and they were different, and they were quality. That's why it made it to where it was. It made high numbers. So when people are like, "Oh, but Aquaman isn't part of the Snyderverse," yes, the hell it is. It's still Jason Momoa. It's still connected to the same universe from what Zack Snyder built. James Wan was consulting Zack Snyder. Therefore, and then after that, people were excited because they were like, yo, I want to see what happens after Justice League. I want to see what happens after Suicide Squad. And then that's why it made $1 billion because people were ready. And then it was a time period that we didn't get movies from DC because Marvel was hogging everything up. And look at where Marvel is at right now because people got tired of it. And then people wanted something different. And then you have these James Gunn fans constantly coming out with excuses. All they do is breathe, sleep, eat, and shit excuses. They always have an excuse for everything. They cannot accept reality. They cannot accept the facts. They know that this DCU is cooked. They know that it's over. It's just a matter of time. What do you think that the studio's sitting there back there backstage with their arms folded and they're like, "Hey, it's not working. What are we gonna do? Yeah, just pull the plug because it's not gonna. We're not gonna keep this up anymore." No, the studio's gonna be like, "Yo, what's the next option that we should go to?" That's what we're gonna see Zack Snyder come into play. This whole thing with the streaming numbers for Man of Steel. Don't think that HBO Max is not consulting with Comcast for next year. Remember, they're coming into play. They even announced it recently. If you're not keeping up, you need to keep up. Comcast even announced it that they're gonna be doing that partnership with WB coming in January with HBO Max. I'm telling y'all, things are about to shift, and when they do shift, don't be like, "Oh, they shift. Things are changing. What is this?" I've been trying to tell y'all. Y'all been sleeping. Y'all keep on with this whole sell to Netflix. That's not going to happen, my friends. Netflix could have the money, but in the end, WB still has the power over these IPs. They still own these characters. Nothing is up for sale yet. Nothing. And a lot of people are jumping to conclusion, oh, they're gonna sell. They're not gonna sell shit anytime soon. I'm sorry to bust your bubble. That's the fact, honestly. Sometimes y'all need to be checked. And the reality is you need to stop sleeping. Comcast is coming into play. Could Comcast buy them out? Yes. Is Sony gonna buy them out? No. Is Disney gonna buy them out? Hell no. They can't. There's laws that prevent that. So what's the real thing we can see? With the way that things are going right now, the only alternative and the only best option would be for Comcast to fully acquire WB, to take them out of this whole financial debt that they're in. They could eliminate that debt. They could sell assets. And guess what? They can do stuff on their streaming service exclusive, like they're doing with The Last of Us, what they've been doing with all these, what is it, House of Dragons, all that crap. They can do the same thing with the Snyderverse. What do you think that they can't do a Ben Affleck movie? exclusive for HBO Max? Hell yeah. They can't do what is it? Release the air cut exclusive on Max? Of course they can. That's what I'm telling y'all. A lot of things are gonna be shifting and changing as we continue to move forward. This whole thing with James Gunn isn't going to last long. And then while we're still talking about James Gunn, here's another fun fact. I'm not sure if a lot of you know about this, but James Gunn came on board in 2020. I think it was what 23, I think, or something like that. November 2023, and he's there for 4 years. So 20, what is it? 22, 3, 4, 5. No, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 23, 4, 5. This is the third year. Next year in November 2026, that's when his contract, along with Peter Safran's contract, are supposed to be up. All right. Rumor has been floating around that WB doesn't want to renew the contract with either one. So what do you think is going to happen? Notice, let's analyze this. Notice how everything just from here on out goes to the following. They haven't announced a Superman 2. And they just told James Gunn, "Hey, when are we going to see James what is it, Superman 2?" And he's like, "When are we?" Like saying, "Yo, there's nothing confirmed about it." All right? They're not making the money that they want to. All they have right now from here to next year is what? Peacemaker. But we already know that's going to come out because, of course, it's James Gunn. He's still in charge until November. So why you think he's trying to fast track everything? This is why, because he's in charge. So he's like, yo, I only have until November next year. Let's try to wrap this up and let's try to greenlight everything so we can go ahead and put it out there. Let's just build excitement. But in the end, it's not going to happen. And then all of a sudden, he's trying to put Supergirl. That's already wrapped. That's already ready to go. We don't know nothing about Lobo yet. Notice that they haven't. I know he came out. He said something like in the past few days, and he's like, "Oh, he's ready for Lobo and whatever it is. He's excited for it and stuff like that." But there's nothing official. Now they're talking about Clayface. It's supposed to go in production sometime next year or something like that. And look at what they're doing with it. They make Clayface into a woman. They're doing the race swap. They're doing the sex swap. That's it. It's an agenda, right? That's what that's coming with. It's remember it was originally supposed to be part of Matt Reeves' universe. And what did James Gunn do? He took it away from him, and now he has it. And now it's gonna be part of the DCU. This whole thing with what is that other one? Swamp Thing. What do you think? They're just trying to build all this fake excitement so people could be like, "Oh, I want to see it. I want." No, no, no. It's all a lie. From here on, everything is gonna be. It's what James Gunn does. He just lies to the fans. He lies to the audience. He lies to everybody, and it's crazy because a lot of people are falling for it, and it's sad to see that. But in the end, I'm telling you right now, everything that James Gunn is putting out there and what James Gunn is doing, it's not going to work. It's not working. We can see it now. It's not working. So what makes you believe that James Gunn is the one that's going to save this company? He can't even save Superman. He can't even put out a good Superman movie. And people are calling it out for what it is. It's all a lie. The studio knows it. Hey, we're screwed. Yeah, you're screwed. You brought this upon yourselves. For long, we've been telling you, hey, straight up, this is straight up. All right, yeah, I get it. Okay, 400 million. Okay, 400 million. That's it. That's it. That's it. In the whole fucking world, 400 million? Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Come at me with real numbers. 400 million is a fucking joke. A joke. 400 million. All right? Let that sit and just think about that. 400 million. You had 12 fucking years to work on this shitty Superman. 12 fucking long years. And you come out just to make 400 million? It's a fucking joke. You should be at a billion. You should be at 2 billion. But you know what? It's bullshit. And people are not eating it up. 400 million. That's it. That's it for a fucking company that's been around for 100 years, for a character that's been set up for fucking ever. Superman, the biggest fucking IP in the fucking universe. And you're at 400 million? It's a fucking joke. A joke. I'm sorry whoever feels bad about that, but that's the reality. Superman, 400 million. While the world is laughing and removing that movie from theaters here in the United States, right? The United States currently represents the whole world. What a fucking joke. A joke with Superman. And it's a fucking joke with all you James Gunn cultists. You always have an excuse for everything. You can't accept defeat. You can't accept that it's not making the numbers you thought it was. You can't You clowns all came out and said, "Oh, it's gonna make $1 billion" the moment it got announced. And then when y'all saw the shit got real, oh, 900 million. Oh shit, it's getting real. 800 million, 700 million, 400 million, 200 million, 100 million. And now that it surpassed those numbers, you're all cheering for a lame ass victory. What victory? You haven't won shit. It hasn't won nothing. Barbie made $1 billion. This company is still in the shithole. Dune made $1 billion. Still in the shithole. Minecraft was about to make $1 billion, and it's still in the shithole. Your stocks can't pass $15. Come at me when that shit passes $15. But it's not. Because for the past 2.5 years with James fucking Gunn, it's been all a fucking joke. A fucking circus. 400 million. Oh, we're winning. We're eating right because we got 400 million. What a fucking joke. That's exactly what you James Gunn cultists are. You're all a fucking joke. You crack me up. Every time there's always something hilarious with you clowns. You straight up are the fucking circus act. And you know it. This is why you always have an excuse for everything. You can't accept it. Nobody's eating this shit up. Enjoy your 5 minutes of fame. Because once this shit is blown out of the water with Fantastic Four this week, I want to see what the excuses are going to be. I want to see what excuses are going to come out from this, honestly. 400 million. That's it. That's it. The Batman only made 700 million. I thought y'all said it was going to make $1 billion. Oh, that's right. Not even your shitty Little Caesars pizza ads could save the Batman with Robert Pattinson. You all fear quality. You don't like what Zack Snyder was putting it. And then y'all always love to play the blame game. Oh, because you Snyder fans, it's not winning. But then, oh, we prove you Snyder fans. Which one is it? Which one of the two is it? You're in or you're out. You're up or you're down. Which one of the two is it? Make your fucking minds up. You're the ones that are confused. You don't know what the fuck y'all want. Real fans know what we want. We want quality. We want goodness. We want greatness. We want all that shit. We don't want this bullshit what we're seeing with this Superman. Superman being saved by everybody. Superman, the most powerful character in WB with the DC IP. And he's being saved by Lois Lane. He's being saved by his dog. He's being saved by everybody but himself. Get out of here with that nonsense, honestly. Complete cringe, complete ridiculous. There's no words to describe it. James Gunn and his cult following are all a joke, straight up. And you might be sitting there marinating in your envy and your juices of, you always got to say something negative, blah, blah, blah. No, that's the reality. The reality is that people want what Zach was giving us, what David Ayer was giving us. The problem all started once the studio started getting in the way and started fooling around and started saying, hey, do this and do that. But they don't do that to James Gunn, right? It's okay for James Gunn to do whatever he wants, right? It's okay for James Gunn to portray these characters and make them all raunchy and do what he's doing, right? That's okay. Because I'm going to tell you straight up, James Gunn, his audience, that's exactly what it is. Sick, demented, perverted, disgusting, vile people. Those are the ones that James Gunn likes to target. That's his audience right there. Are those sickos? That's who James Gunn's targeting. And don't think that you're going to not see that in Supergirl. Supergirl is going to be raunchy. Supergirl is going to be perverted. Supergirl is going to be the worst type of role model that there is. Oh, but guess what? That's what this generation likes. That's exactly what this generation completely idolizes, right? I'm glad because that's also going to be another one that's going to go down. And so what? Oh, it's making 400 million. It's making 500 million. That's it. That's it. Freaking joke. Crack me up every single time. Telling you straight up. Didn't BVS debut with 400 million? BVS made money. It made money, and it's still making money with the sales of physical media. Every single time you James Gunn clowns always want to argue about something. You always want to talk about something and try to justify something when it doesn't even have a valid excuse. You always try to play that card, but it doesn't work. Just accept it. Nobody cares around the world. Nobody outside of the United States cares about Superman. That is concerning. That should raise all type of flags to the studio. If I was a studio, I'll be like, you know what? Fuck it. I've seen enough. I'm done. We're firing you, James Gunn, and we're going back to what was working. That's it. That's all they have to do. But no, instead you have dumbasses like David Zaslav in charge, Peter Safran, and James Gunn giving themselves millions of dollars, right, as bonuses. And you think that they're not going to get a fat ass check at the end of the year? Of course they are, because that's what they all care about. That's all they care about. That's insane. That's completely wild, you know? But this is what the studio wanted. You wanted that reboot, you got that reboot. And then the funny part about it is now with this whole thing with the McFarlane toys, right? Oh, okay. We don't want to continue with the Snyderverse because the Snyderverse doesn't make money, right? Because that's what everybody likes to say, right? All you James Gunn cultists love to say that, right? Let me help you, James Gunn cultists, with the Martha joke, right? With the fucking Martha joke that you've been using for the past 12 fucking years, right? We get it. The point is that if James Gunn sold and he made money or makes money for the company, how come they don't re-release product of James Gunn? That's right, because it doesn't sell. So what do you need to fund your shitty DCU? Oh, that's right. You need us again. You need the Snyder fans, right? Because tomorrow McFarlane is putting out these figures, this Batmobile that's a store exclusive. I wonder why. I wonder why it's not available at all retails. Oh, that's right, because McFarlane, along with DC and WB, want to milk the cow again. And they know that fans are going to go out there and buy it. It's crazy. How come we don't see what James Gunn re-releases of his previous stuff at DC? Because it doesn't sell. That's why. Nobody's buying that Weasel statue that cost $300. Oh, but that's right. They dropped it to 100 and something, and it's still not selling. Meanwhile, Ben Affleck's Batman, that's like 300 something, continues to sell. That sells. The McFarlane toys sell. Everything else sells. But James Gunn on clearance. You've seen it. I post videos of it too. Nobody's buying that stuff. Nobody cares about it. Not enough people. And that's beautiful to see how fans all over the world are coming together. And it's crazy. It's completely crazy to see how everything is the way that it's at right now. You know, there's no legs with this company. WB knows that they're completely done. They're just they just have to fulfill the contract. They're like, hey, look, the contract is up next year. We just have to write it out because they're obligated by contract. You know, the law and stuff, whatever it is that they did. Because if not, they're gonna be they'll get taxed for breaking the contract early and stuff like that. So they'll be like, hey, we can't lose any more money. But you've already lost so much money. How much money did you lose the moment you appointed James Gunn? Since then till now, since the beginning of the Suicide Squad with James Gunn, that was proof of everything that was going to come. And look at where we are right now. That's exactly what's happening. Not enough people are supporting it. Not enough people are eating this up. And the studio knows it. The studio must be every day on panic mode saying, what do we do now? What's next? You could imagine the discussions that they're having in the studio. We should do this, we should do that, but I told you so. Oh, but it didn't work. Oh, but this is working. Oh, but this is... I can only imagine the bullshit that that David Zaslav, along with Peter Safran and James Gunn, must go through on a daily basis or every week when they talk. The bullshit that James Gunn must come up with, and Peter Safran must be there like, this guy's so full of shit. But I just had to sit here, smile, and agree, and be like, that's exactly, And then you have David Zaslav, another one that has no clue of what the hell's going on in this industry, and he thinks he knows what's best for business, and he must be like, what the hell do I do? You imagine that? That has got to be the most hilarious thing to see. But in the end, again, look, I'm telling y'all straight up, the Batman 2 is probably going to get canceled. Accept it. I get it. You Matt Reeves fans out there must be like, no, it's not going to happen. We're going to see it. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I'm telling you straight up. Not as long as James Gunn's in charge. He's not going to allow the air cut to be released. He's not going to give us the Batman 2 to the ones that want to see it. Because if you're seeing how they're doing things now, they're trying to fast track everything and say, let's do this, but we don't even care about the fans. We don't even care about quality. Let's just put it out there just for the hell of it. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Even James Gunn has admitted when you have when you have the CEO of the studio, such as James Gunn himself, saying, "Hey, it doesn't matter if it doesn't make money. It doesn't matter. It's okay. Let's just analyze that." That's like any boss coming out and saying, "Hey, look, uh, we don't care if we don't make money, but as long as we put out the product." You're in the wrong business, my friend. You shouldn't even be in business, honestly, because once you're in business, it's about making money. I don't care what you tell me. It's about making money. It's about how you're gonna make money and how you're going to give the fans what they want, so you're gonna keep on making money and you keep on those fans, coming back. But instead, WB continues to put out generic trash, and you have some customers that have given up and they've left, and others keep coming back and be like, "Hey, okay, I'll settle for less." I'm not one of those. I'm not one of those. I told you I wasn't going to pay for Superman, and I didn't pay for it. I watched it, but I didn't pay for it. There's a big difference. So if you're out there like, "You see, I told you you were gonna see it and this and that," yeah, but I didn't pay for it. That's the difference. One thing is watching it, hey, whatever, and the other thing is like, yo, I'm paying it and I don't want to watch it. I didn't pay for it. That's the difference. A lot of people are out there and they feel even more let down because they're like, yo, I want a refund. Too late now. You should have never watched it. We've been trying to tell you for a while. That's exactly what this was. And just seeing how everything has turned out, it's completely, it's nuts. It's nuts. This whole thing with James Gunn, WB, Superman, is so controversial. Not that in the sense that it's very like bad, but it's just so controversial because everybody everywhere has an opinion, and it's amazing, honestly. If if you run with Gun, if you're one of those fans, I'm interested and I listen and I'll read your comments and I'll hear them and stuff like that, and I'm like, wow, the state of mind that some of these James Gunn fans are just so out of it, and it's crazy. It just boggles my mind. And then seeing other customers, fans, consumers, how they leave their comments and the way that they feel, they straight up like everybody feels one way or another with this movie. I I'm like I knew that movie was gonna be trash. I knew it, you know. And to me, it's like we told you so. We've all been telling you. And when you have people coming out and saying, "Hey, like it's good, it's bad," you see all type of comments everywhere out there. You see all type of videos. There's more people exposing and talking about James Gunn and this whole Superman that it just wasn't it, and people are being let down everywhere. There's a video. There's literally a video out there of a fan. The video's probably like maybe like a minute or so, maybe a minute and a half. This dude comes out with his Superman from James Gunn's shirt on, and under that he has the old regular Superman shirt, and he straight up just cuts through that shirt and he's like, "I'm done with this," and he gets all his merchandise that he bought, his popcorn bucket, his popcorn cup. He he bought he bought everything. He bought the McFarlane toy. He bought everything, like plushies, all that stuff. And he's like, I'm done with this company. He starts throwing it all out. He puts it all in the bucket and he's throwing it out. And I'm like, damn, you know how much money you just spent? You could have just done that from the beginning. Like literally, you didn't have to go out there and watch it. We already know that this movie was going to be garbage. And just like that, expect the same or worse. I'm telling you, it's going to be worse for Supergirl. If you think Superman was bad, Supergirl is going to be 3 times worse than what Superman is right now. I can only imagine, like I said not long ago, imagine what WB saw on the first cut of James Gunn's Superman. And they were like, nah, we're not releasing this. You better take it back to the editing room. And then after that, they did 3 more screenings and they still didn't work. And this is the best that James Gunn could give us? Wow. 350 plus million, and that's what he delivered. So when you James Gunn clowns come at me and say, "Oh, well, let's make it 400 million," you're just telling me you're making budget back. You're making budget back. That's it. You're barely making budget back. Where's the profit? Oh, but it's not about profits, right? It's as long as you make your budget back. A joke. That's what the DCU is. A joke. The Snyderverse is going to make a strong comeback, and you know it. You try to stop us for the Snyder Cut, and it didn't work because we have the Snyder Cut now. And just like we didn't stop, we're not going to stop for the return of Zack Snyder and the Snyderverse. Because don't think that that's not coming. It's on the way. It's on the way. So everybody that's like, oh, it's never gonna come back. It's not gonna make a comeback. You're the delusional one. Blah blah blah. The same script you've been reading for all these years and the same thing you've been saying. Guess what? You know that you cannot stop it. You know that we're going to get the Snyderverse back in due time. And we're going to see Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3. We are going to see the real Batman with Ben Affleck. We're going to see Man of Steel 2. We will see again, and we will see Henry Cavill as Superman facing off with Dwayne Johnson as Black Adam, because that's where things left off. All of that is coming again, my friends. You will see. Because that's what made the company money. It was making them money. And now that they see that with James Gunn, it's not working and it's not making them the profits, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to have to go back to what was working. And that's where they left off at the Snyderverse. There's no and, ifs, or buts. The DCU is officially dead. It's done. It's over. There's no coming back from this. There's none. And to all the James Gunn bozos out there applauding, oh, we're making 400 million. The movie's making 400 million. Yeah? Look outside of your bubble. They're taking the movie down from all the theaters and places that they're supposed to be playing. But meanwhile, you're in this little bubble, right? Making barely your budget back. Wow, trying to justify a flop, trying to make a flop the new norm. Real people are aware of the nonsense, and every time that James Gunn comes out here and talks and says something, they know what's up. People are fed up. People are tired of all that. You know, people are just like, yo, we are done with this, and there's no coming back from it, honestly. You know, I'm telling y'all, we have to stay positive. Remember, we went through the same thing with the merger with AT&T. We went through the same thing when Ann Sarnoff said the same thing. We heard the same thing from the Hamadaverse. We're hearing the same thing now with the Gunverse and all these James Gunn cultists. That's what they want. They want us to give up. They want us to stop talking about it. That's all. But we will stop at nothing. They know it. They know what the business is. We know what the assignment is. This is why I'm telling y'all, we have to stay strong, united, and together. That's how we win this war. And they know it. They know it. This is why constantly they're always trying to bark up the tree. But they know that they can't do anything. There's no stopping us. You know? The DCU, it didn't work. It's a flop. It's a joke. There's no future in it. The days of the DCU are going to be the shortest universe in all of DC's history. And in the end, they're going to have to go back to what was working. And that was with the Snyderverse. Because that's where the money is at. If that's not where the money is at, baby, then tell me why the hell McFarlane tomorrow's putting out the Batmobile along with those figures, re-releasing them in different color variants and black and white edition just to get money again from the community. And I think that all of that is going to be, again, a big sign to them saying, hey, damn, they're funding this, because this is not going to be a regular, hey, we're going to put it on the store to buy it. No, this is all going to be the same way how Hasbro likes to put out their HasLab projects. If it gets funded, then it gets made and it goes into production. If it doesn't, then they cancel it, they can it, and it didn't happen. We're seeing that. What do you think? That all of this is not going to sell out? Hell yeah, it's going to sell out. I'm telling you that thing, that Batmobile, that thing is looking dope. I'm like, damn, do I really need it? I'm like, I think I really do. But I'm like, damn, do I really want to spend money for this company like that? Not really, but we're gonna see what's gonna happen. But with that, I want to thank y'all for tuning in, for watching, all that good stuff. And as always, keep posted. I appreciate y'all for watching. And I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. Till next time. Peace.